Hey guys, long time no see. So this is a Apex Legends thumbnail I put together, and should be pretty simple to go through. I know in my last Fortnite one, some people said like, I went too fast and stuff, but this is mainly made for people who know how to navigate Photoshop and use it simply. So I'd recommend learning that first before you watch this if you don't already know how to. But yeah, I'm just going to go through this layer by layer, and that's it pretty much. So let's get started. Obviously blank document, so I do 1920 by 1080. That's sort of 16 by 9 aspect ratio. That's the thumbnail size. If you save it as an image, sometimes it will go bigger than the recommended file size, so you could change this to 1280 by 720, which is like a smaller version of the same file size, as you can see. But I'm just going to stick with 1920 by 1080. That's the main size you want to go. But just remember, you can always go down a size, but you can't always go up a size, because then the quality of the image gets lower. But yeah, the only thing you'll need really is the picture to use at the front, like the render of the character. It can be anything. I'm just going to use this render of Pathfinder, that's it. And then you need the background image. So what I'm going to do for that is go to the Apex Legends website, and here, if you just go to the home page or type in Apex Legends, click on the Apex Legends link or whatever it's called, and then here you just should see it. I'll leave a link as well if you can't find it, but there's loads of screenshots here to use. So I'm just going to pick one, like this one looks pretty cool. So just click on it, copy image, go to Photoshop, Control V obviously, and it's, you know, very high quality. I think these are 4K. Yeah, these are 4K, so they're high quality images to use. So I'm just going to put that, like, don't really want any logos showing in the background, so I'm just going to put that like there, and then obviously move it behind the render, and yeah, that's the main start. Next step is to add a bit of the red colour to the background, like the washed out red, and for that I'm going to use gradient map. So down here at the bottom right, where it is this half filled circle, you click that and go to gradient map, and then that will give you this option here, it should do, which will give you a gradient which you can then alter the colours of the background. So this colour here on the left is what the dark colours will appear as. So the dark colours now are appearing as this blue. So if you change that to black, the dark colours then go to black. I'm just going to set it to like a reddy purple, like this. Click OK, and then the light colours are on the right side. So obviously the light colours in the sky and like the shines on the metal and stuff are going to be here. So if that's confusing as well, just go dark to light, left to right, and it should look pretty good in the background. And then click OK. Next step is to add some glows to the character. So first I'm going to do the sun behind. So add a new layer, and then with the brush tool, with B, I'm going to colour select one of these reds here, the lighter reds. I'll just go to the sky. So now with your brush, set it to a reasonable size, like about the size that covers the whole character. Set it to 0% hardness, that's quite important, because if you go to 100% hardness, it will make a circle like this. If you go to 0%, that's where you get that glow effect. 0% hardness, and just click around in the background so there's a sort of a subtle glow behind the character like this. And then set the blending mode of this layer to screen. At the moment it's looking a bit pink, and that's because this gradient map here has a bit of purple in the dark tones. So I'm just going to set that all to dark red. And as you can see, it starts to look a bit more red overall. You could also set this to color dodge to get rid of the pinkness and just have it red. Now after this I'm going to add a white glow, which is smaller but more concentrated. So I'll show you what that means. So new layer, and then a white layer here, white color, brush softness, but make it smaller this time. Then you can have more concentrated glow around the edges of the character, like that. And then you could always lower the opacity if you think it's too strong. You can see before and after, it just makes it more harsh on the background. Next, above this layer, I'm going to add new layer, brush, and go back to the same red here. But this time I'm going to add some glows around the corner as well as just over the top. So it sort of looks like, as you can see here, once everything's done, it's sort of, if you look on this navigator window here, which I recommend if you're using a thumbnail, because it shows you how it will look as a small size, which is the most important part of a thumbnail. So as you're working, you can just look up here and see if anything you're adding doesn't work at a small size. So yeah, it just sort of flushes out the colour at the bottom, brings out the character a little bit. So just add some here, and then set this to screen as well, which will pretty much, it will get rid of this sort of faded look. If you set it to screen, it will give it more of that glow look. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to make this a bit harsher actually there. And I'm going to do the same again, make a new layer, make it a white layer, and brush over there like that. Lower the opacity, and there you go. There's that glow done. You can see it looks pretty much the same as this. I've just made the glow down at the bottom stronger. Next, I'm going to add some corrections to the character itself, just a few contrasts, curves and stuff. So I'm going to add a new adjustment layer from the bottom here, go to curves, and then if you hold Alt and click in between the two layers, it will clip the top one to the bottom one. So what that does is, if you change these curves, I'll just do something really extreme, like this, really bright, but then if you clip it to this layer by holding Alt and click in between them, it will just affect this layer underneath, which is what this arrow means. So this layer here is just affecting this layer here. So obviously if I reset these curves and try it now, so I'm going to make the lights lighter by holding this top sort of quarter, bringing it upwards, and this bottom corner here, just bring it downwards, which will make the darks darker, and there you have more contrast. So you can see before and after makes quite a big difference. Now I'm going to add some text. So by pressing T on the keyboard or going to this tool here, you can click anywhere and add some text. I'm just going to do, what did I do on the other? 20 kill win. So I'm going to do it in two separate parts, 20 and kill, and then underneath I'm going to put win. What I just there is duplicated this layer once I made the text, and then you can always click with the text tool inside the text to edit your text. So the reason I've done two separate ones is because I think it's easier to have two separate fonts and two separate sizes on different layers, just so you can edit the positions individually. So I'm going to keep this as XO, which is the font I'm using here, XO2, and for the bottom one I'm going to use, I'll use Agency. So XO2 and Agency are the fonts I'm going to be using. So just go to Agency back. Make that sort of same width as the 20 kill. Again, you don't have to follow this exactly, I'm just showing you how to make the rough works of a text, I guess. So now I've got the positions and the sizes of them. I can highlight both of them by clicking one of the layers, holding Control, clicking the other one, and move them as one. And now I can also edit the sort of perspective of them, edit the sizes of them. And the good thing about these text layers is you can always go back to your text tool by pressing T on the keyboard or just clicking this one. You can always edit the text, and that's what you'll get with the template as well. The text and everything will all be editable, so you can just click into it with the text tool, change it, and you're done. I'm just going to keep it as 20 kill though, because the game's been out for like, what, a week? So if you want to clickbait, then go ahead, be my guest, but I'm just going to keep it at 20 kill for now. And I'm going to use this yellow of this happy face here for the 20 kill text. So I'm just double clicking this T on this layer, this rectangle here, going to the colours here and selecting the yellow, and then just making it like a vibrant yellow from that shade. Click OK, and there you go, easy. Now last thing to do with the text is just to move these two underneath the render like that. So you can see already out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 layers, you've already got this look, I mean pretty much down. The only difference between these two now is the way the text is orientated, the background image, and I mean that's pretty much it. There you go, make it a bit bigger, a bit easier to see. The main thing, as you see in this navigator window up here, and if you do want that, just go to window, make sure navigator is ticked, and then it should appear as a little window. You can just snap it into any part of the Photoshop window. But the main thing you want here is the big text, the big render, and that's the main things that are going to attract people's attention. So you don't want to worry about all these little effects, details and stuff, because once you look at this you won't even see them. So you could go into all these details, add a clipping mask to the win, and then get one of these red colours, put a glow on it like this. I've seen some people do this. The thing with that is, once you look at the navigator, what difference is this going to make as a thumbnail? You know, that's what you want to think about. Just keeping it simple. The main interests are the render, text, that's it, done. So now all that's left to do is the colour correction. So for that I'm just going to add another curves layer, This time I'm not going to clip it to anything, I'm just going to leave it as an adjustment layer, which means it's going to affect all of the layers underneath it. So double click into this circle to bring up the window. Just again add the contrast up. So this top quarter here, bring it up. This bottom corner here, bring it down. Just to make it more contrasted and eye-catching. So you can see before and after. Just brings out the colours a bit more. And I do think these white areas here are a bit contrasted. So what I'm going to do is click into this layer mask here, this white layer mask. This just means that whatever is white is affected, whatever is painted black isn't. So if I get a black brush now and paint over these white areas, you should see they start to lose a bit of contrast. And that just means that the black areas are no longer affected by the curves and the white areas are. And there you go, that's pretty much done. If you do get the project file instead of listening to this and following through, then you'll just be granted with this. The main things that you may want to change are the text. So again, click into the text tool. You can always just click on the text, change it to 40 kill win or whatever. You can always change that. If you don't have the fonts, they're called XO2 for the top one, and for the bottom one, Agency FB. But you can always add your own fonts, change anything. You can always add your own render here. You know, it's all up to you pretty much once you get the project file. You know, change the background image, etc. But yeah, that's it. It should be relatively easy, but if you do want any questions asked or anything, then obviously comments or Twitter is the best places. I'll leave them in the description as well. And yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, peace.